Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight of your body against the bed. Feel the gentle pull of Earth beneath you. Now imagine floating upward, beyond the ceiling, beyond the clouds, beyond the thin blue line where sky meets space. You are drifting into the vast darkness between worlds. Here, in this infinite ocean of night, you are not alone. Millions of ancient travelers move through this cosmic sea. They have been journeying for billions of years. These are the asteroids. Silent wanderers. Cold messengers from the beginning of time itself. Each one carries a story written in stone and metal. Each one holds secrets that could transform your world. Tonight, you begin a gentle journey to meet them. To understand their quiet wisdom. To discover how these forgotten fragments of creation might build the cities of tomorrow. The space between planets feels empty when you look up at the night sky. But it is not empty at all. It is filled with travelers. Some are as small as pebbles. Others are mountains floating in the dark. All of them are moving. All of them are waiting. They drift in a great ring around the sun. This ring sits between Mars and Jupiter. Scientists call it the asteroid belt. But it is not really a belt at all. It is more like a scattered garden. A cosmic meadow where ancient stones graze on starlight. These rocks were born when your solar system was young. 4.5 billion years ago, when planets were still forming, these fragments were left over. They are the building blocks that never became a world. Think of them as cosmic seeds. Seeds that never grew into a planet. But seeds that still hold all the ingredients for life and civilization. Inside each asteroid, elements sleep in perfect patience. Iron that could build space stations. Platinum more precious than all the treasure on Earth. Water frozen into crystal memories. Carbon that could grow into diamond cities among the stars. Your own body carries pieces of these ancient wanderers. The calcium in your bones was forged in stellar furnaces billions of years ago. The iron in your blood once drifted through this same dark ocean. You are made of star stuff. And so are they. When you breathe, you taste atoms that have traveled across the galaxy. When you think, electrical signals flow through pathways built from cosmic dust. You are not separate from these space rocks. You are their distant cousin. Their earthbound child. The asteroids move in elegant dances around the sun. Some complete their orbits in just a few Earth years. Others take much longer. They follow paths that were carved by gravity when the solar system was young. Most of them stay safely in their distant meadow. But sometimes, one will wander closer. It might pass near Earth. When this happens, we can study it more closely. We can learn its secrets. We can discover what treasures it carries in its stone heart. These close approaches are gifts. Opportunities to touch the ancient past. To hold in our hands pieces of the original solar system. To understand how worlds are born and how they might be born again. Some asteroids are made mostly of stone. Others are rich in metals. Still others hold ice from the dawn of time. Each type tells a different chapter in the story of creation. Each one offers different gifts to humanity's future. The rocky ones are like fossil libraries. They preserve the conditions that existed when planets were forming. They remember temperatures and pressures from billions of years ago. They hold clues about how Earth itself came to be. The metallic ones are treasure ships floating in the dark. A single iron-rich asteroid might contain more platinum than has ever been mined on Earth. More gold than exists in all our vaults. More rare metals than our civilization has ever used. The icy ones are perhaps the most precious of all. They carry water, the universal solvent, the source of all life as we know it. This cosmic ice could fuel the rockets of tomorrow. It could fill the swimming pools of space cities. It could make the desert of space bloom with human presence. But these gifts are not easy to claim. The asteroids live far from Earth. They move at tremendous speeds. They exist in an environment where humans cannot breathe. where the sun's warmth barely reaches, where silence is absolute and darkness is complete. To reach them, we must become cosmic travelers ourselves. We must build ships that can journey for months or years through the empty ocean between worlds. We must create robots that can work in perfect cold and vacuum. We must learn to think in cosmic time scales. This is not science fiction. This is the gentle edge of tomorrow. Companies and nations are already planning missions to these ancient wanderers. Engineers are designing the tools that will harvest their treasures. Scientists are mapping their orbits and analyzing their compositions. The first asteroid miners are being born today. Perhaps they are children sleeping in beds like yours. Perhaps they are looking up at the same stars you see. Perhaps they are dreaming the same dreams of distant worlds and cosmic possibilities. The technology exists. The knowledge grows each day. The economics are becoming clear. What once seemed impossible is becoming inevitable. The asteroid frontier is opening like a flower in the morning sun. But this story is about more than mining and metals. It is about humanity's relationship with the cosmos. It is about becoming gardeners of the solar system. It is about taking our first careful steps toward becoming a truly spacefaring civilization. As you lie here tonight, these ancient travelers continue their patient orbits. They have been waiting for billions of years. They can wait a little longer. But not much longer. Soon, human hands will touch their surfaces. Human minds will unlock their secrets. Human dreams will transform their silent gifts into the foundation stones of tomorrow's greatest cities. The whispers from the void are becoming clearer. They speak of abundance beyond imagination. They speak of resources that could power human civilization for thousands of years. They speak of stepping stones to the stars themselves. But first, we must understand where these cosmic messengers came from, and how the violent birth pangs of our solar system scattered the very building blocks of worlds across the dark. Imagine you are floating backward through time. Years melt away like morning mist. Centuries dissolve into memory. You drift back through millions of years. Then billions. You arrive at the beginning. At the moment when your solar system was young and wild. Here, in this ancient time, there is no Earth as you know it. No blue oceans. No green forests. No gentle moon watching over sleeping children. There is only a vast cloud of dust and gas, slowly spinning in the darkness. This cloud holds everything that will become your world. Every grain of sand on every beach. Every drop of water in every ocean. Every breath you will ever take. All of it exists here, waiting to be born. The cloud is mostly hydrogen and helium. The simplest elements in the universe. But scattered throughout this cosmic fog are heavier things. Iron and nickel. Silicon and carbon. Oxygen and magnesium. These are the gifts of ancient stars. Long before your solar system existed, giant stars lived and died in this corner of the galaxy. When they died, they exploded in magnificent supernovas. These stellar fireworks scattered their hearts across space. The heavy elements that make planets possible. The raw materials of worlds. Your cloud begins to collapse. Gravity pulls the gas and dust together. As it falls inward, it spins faster. Like a figure skater pulling in her arms. The center grows hot and dense. This will become your sun. Around this growing star, the leftover material flattens into a disk. A cosmic pancake of dust and gas. This is where planets will be born. This is where the asteroids begin their story. In the inner part of the disk, close to the young sun, it is hot. Here, only rocky materials can survive. Metals and stones that can withstand the stellar heat. Ice would boil away instantly. Gas would be blown into space. But farther out, where the asteroids live today, it is cooler. Here, ice can form. Water freezes into crystals. Even gases can condense into solid particles. This distant region becomes a cosmic construction zone. Tiny particles begin to stick together. Dust grains the size of smoke particles clump into pebbles. Pebbles gather into rocks. Rocks collide and merge into boulders. Boulders grow into mountains floating in space. This process is gentle at first, like snowflakes gathering on a quiet winter morning. But as the objects grow larger, their gravity grows stronger. They begin to pull on each other more forcefully. Some of these growing worlds succeed in their cosmic dance. They sweep up most of the material in their orbital neighborhood. They become planets. Mars forms this way. So does Jupiter. So does your own Earth. But in the region between Mars and Jupiter, something different happens. Jupiter grows so large and powerful that its gravity disrupts the formation process. The growing worlds in this zone can never quite come together. Instead, they remain scattered. Fragments of what might have been. Pieces of unborn planets. They become the asteroids. The children of shattered dreams. Some of these asteroid children are small, no bigger than city blocks. Others are enormous. Ceres, the largest, is almost as wide as Texas. But even Ceres is tiny compared to what might have been. If all the asteroids were gathered together, they would form a world smaller than your moon. Each asteroid carries the memory of this ancient time. In their rocky hearts, you can read the story of how worlds are born. You can see the original materials that built your solar system. You can touch the very dust from which planets grow. The iron in asteroids formed in the cores of massive stars. Under tremendous pressure and heat, lighter elements fused together to create this strong metal. When those stars exploded, they scattered their iron hearts across the galaxy. The water in asteroids has an even more amazing story. It formed in the cold depths of space, where hydrogen and oxygen atoms found each other in the darkness. This cosmic ice is older than your solar system. It remembers the time before planets existed. The carbon in asteroids could tell tales of stellar furnaces where this element was forged. Carbon is the backbone of life as you know it. It is the element that makes complex chemistry possible. Without carbon, there could be no DNA. No proteins. No you. Even the gold and platinum in asteroids have cosmic biographies. These precious metals were born in the most violent events in the universe. When neutron stars collide, they create shock waves that forge heavy elements. These rare metals are literally made from cosmic catastrophe. So when you look at an asteroid, you are not just seeing a rock floating in space. You are seeing a time capsule from the birth of worlds. A library written in stone and metal. A messenger carrying news from the beginning of everything. The asteroids remember what Earth has forgotten. They preserve the original recipe for planets. They hold samples of the pristine materials that existed before life began. They are archaeological treasures from the deepest past. This is why they are so valuable to scientists. And why they might be so valuable to the future. They offer a chance to study the building blocks of worlds. To understand how planets form. To learn what ingredients are needed to make a world that can support life. But the asteroids also offer something more immediate. They are warehouses of raw materials floating in space. Ready-made stockpiles of metals and water. Construction supplies for humanity's expansion into the solar system. The same cosmic processes that failed to make a planet between Mars and Jupiter left us with something perhaps even more useful. A scattered collection of resources. A cosmic hardware store where different asteroids specialize in different materials. Some asteroids are rich in iron and nickel. These are the ones that remind us most of Earth's core. They could provide the structural metals for space stations. The steel beams of orbital cities. Others are loaded with precious metals. Platinum group elements that are essential for electronics and fuel cells. These rare materials are scattered throughout asteroid hearts, waiting to power the technologies of tomorrow. Still others carry water and organic compounds. The basic ingredients for life itself. These cosmic icebergs could become the oases of space. the sources of fuel and breathable atmosphere for interplanetary travelers. The asteroids are patient teachers. They have been waiting for 4.5 billion years to share their lessons. They have watched worlds form and life emerge. They have seen species rise and fall. And still they drift in their ancient orbits, carrying their precious cargo. Now, finally, one of those species has grown wise enough to reach them. Humanity stands on the threshold of touching these children of shattered worlds, of learning from their long memory, of harvesting the gifts they have carried since the dawn of time. But to reach these cosmic treasures, we must first understand how to travel to them, how to approach them gently, and how to harvest their gifts without destroying the delicate beauty of their ancient dance. Picture yourself 20 years from tomorrow. You are floating in a spacecraft no larger than a small room. Through the curved window, stars shine with steady light. No atmosphere makes them twinkle here. They burn with ancient certainty in the perfect darkness. Ahead of you, growing slowly larger, is your destination. An asteroid. A mountain of stone and metal that has been waiting for billion years for this moment. For you. You are not alone in this cosmic dance. Around the solar system, dozens of other mining crews drift toward their own targets. Silent pioneers in the greatest treasure hunt in human history. Your spacecraft moves with the patience of seasons. There is no hurry here. No rushing. Space mining is an art of gentle approaches and careful timing. Like a hummingbird approaching a flower. Like morning mist settling on still water. The asteroid grows in your window. What seemed like a distant star becomes a world unto itself. You can see the ancient scars on its surface. Craters from billions of years of cosmic collisions. Valleys carved by the solar wind. Ridges that tell stories of its violent birth. This is not the mining of Earth. There are no explosions here. No thundering machines tearing at the ground. No dust clouds choking the air. In space, mining becomes something entirely different. Something almost reverent. Your ship carries tools that would seem magical to miners of the past. Solar arrays unfold like silver wings, drinking starlight and turning it into power. Robotic arms extend with the grace of underwater dancers. Sensors reach out to taste the asteroid's composition with invisible fingers. The asteroid is spinning slowly. Once every 6 hours, it completes a full rotation. You match its rhythm. Your spacecraft becomes its temporary moon. You orbit this tiny world at walking speed. Taking your time. Learning its secrets. Your instruments tell you stories written in the asteroid's rocks. This one is rich in iron and nickel. The same metals that flow in molten rivers beneath your feet on Earth. But here, they exist in pure form. Concentrated by billions of years of cosmic sorting. The gravity here is so weak you could jump from one side to the other. Your mass is the same, but your weight is almost nothing. A child could lift a boulder. A gentle push could send you floating for hours. This changes everything about how mining works. On Earth, gravity helps and hinders. Here, it barely whispers. Your mining robots move like ballet dancers in slow motion. Every action planned. Every movement deliberate. The robots that do the actual mining are not the crude machines of earthly quarries. They are precision instruments. Some are no larger than insects. Others stretch like metal spiders across the asteroid's surface. All of them work in perfect silence. The small ones burrow into cracks and crevices. They follow veins of precious metals like electronic bloodhounds. They map the asteroid's internal structure. They identify the richest deposits. They work for months without rest, powered by the endless sunshine of space. The larger robots are harvesters. They scrape and collect. They sort and separate. They work with tools that use no explosives. Instead, they employ focus microwaves to heat and fracture rock. They use magnetic fields to separate different metals. They use gentle electric currents to extract precious elements. Everything happens slowly, patiently. A single robot might spend weeks processing one small section of surface. There is no deadline except the asteroid's orbit. No pressure except the gentle tug of distant gravity. The materials they collect float in containment fields. Clouds of metal dust held by invisible forces. Nuggets of platinum suspended like diamonds in empty air. Everything weightless. Everything waiting. You watch this cosmic ballet from your command station. Your job is not to control every movement. That would be impossible across the vast distances of space. Instead, you guide. You suggest. You solve problems when they arise. Sometimes a robot encounters something unexpected. A pocket of gas trapped since the solar system's birth. A crystal formation of unusual beauty. A metal alloy that shouldn't exist. When this happens, you make decisions. You adjust plans. You ensure that discovery and profit work hand in hand. The economics of space mining require a different kind of thinking. On Earth, transportation is cheap. Materials are expensive. In space, it is the opposite. Materials are abundant. Transportation is precious. So you don't send everything back to Earth. That would be wasteful. Instead, you build infrastructure in space. You turn raw asteroid materials into fuel for other spacecraft. Into building materials for space stations. Into tools for the next generation of cosmic miners. Your asteroid becomes a way station. A cosmic gas station where water is split into hydrogen and oxygen fuel. Where metals are shaped into structural beams. Where rare elements are refined into electronic components. Other ships begin to visit your small world. Cargo vessels that carry finished goods to Earth orbit. Construction ships that use your materials to build solar power satellites. Passenger ships that use your fuel to journey to Mars and beyond. Your single asteroid becomes the heart of a small economy. A node in the growing network of human presence throughout the solar system. You are not just mining. You are pioneering. You are planting seeds that will grow into cities among the stars. The work requires new kinds of expertise. You must understand orbital mechanics like a sailor understands tides. You must think in 3 dimensions like a bird navigates the sky. You must plan for delays measured in months and distances measured in millions of miles. But perhaps most importantly, you must cultivate patience. Space mining is not about quick profits. It is about building the foundation for humanity's cosmic future. Every gram of material you extract is a building block for tomorrow's space civilization. Your tools include more than robots and refineries. You carry with you the accumulated wisdom of human engineering. Solar panels that work in the frozen depths beyond Mars. Computers that function in the radiation storms near Jupiter. Life support systems that can recycle air and water for years without resupply. You also carry something less tangible but equally important. The pioneer spirit. The willingness to work in isolation. The ability to solve problems with whatever materials are at hand. The patience to build something that your grandchildren will complete. The asteroid miners of tomorrow will be part engineer, part artist, part explorer. They will combine the technical skills of the digital age with the self-reliance of frontier settlers. They will be equally comfortable with quantum computers and basic hand tools. They will work in crews of 3 or 4. Small enough to make decisions quickly. Large enough to handle emergencies. They will spend months or years in each other's company. They will become families bound not by blood but by shared purpose and mutual dependence. The asteroid you are mining will eventually be exhausted. Its richest deposits extracted. Its usefulness as a way station ended. But by then, you will have moved on to another target. Another ancient wanderer waiting to share its treasures. And the metals you have harvested will live on in new forms. The iron will become the skeleton of a space station. The platinum will power fuel cells on Mars. The water will fill the swimming pools of orbital cities yet to be built. But hidden within even the most common asteroid materials are traces of something far more precious than gold or platinum. In your hand right now, you hold a miracle of elements. Your phone. Your watch. The electronics that connect you to the world. Inside these everyday objects flow traces of the rarest metals on Earth. Metals that cost more than gold. Metals that came from the hearts of dying stars. These same metals exist in abundance in the darkness between worlds. They flow through asteroid hearts like underground rivers. Rivers of platinum. Streams of gold. Veins of rare elements with names like poetry. Palladium. Rhodium. Iridium. On Earth, these metals hide deep underground. They exist in tiny amounts. A few parts per million. Like looking for scattered diamonds in mountains of sand. We mine entire mountainsides to collect just a few precious ounces. But in the asteroids, the story is different. Here, these rare metals concentrate naturally. Cosmic processes have sorted and gathered them over billions of years. What is scarce on Earth is abundant in space. A single metallic asteroid might contain more platinum than has ever been mined in human history. More than all the jewelry ever made. More than all the catalytic converters ever built. More than all the fuel cells ever dreamed of. Think about this for a moment. Let it settle in your mind like snow on still water. One asteroid. One mountain floating in space. Contains more wealth than entire nations have ever possessed. These numbers seem impossible. But they are real. They come from careful measurements. From spacecraft that have visited asteroids and tasted their compositions. From telescopes that read the light reflected from their surfaces. The asteroid called 16 Psyche might hold $10,000 trillion worth of metals. That number is so large it loses meaning. It is more money than exists on Earth. More wealth than humanity has ever created. But this is not really about money. This is about transformation. About what becomes possible when scarcity becomes abundance. When the rarest materials become common as sand. Platinum is the key to the hydrogen economy. It makes fuel cells possible. These devices combine hydrogen and oxygen to create electricity. They produce only water as waste. Clean energy from the most abundant element in the universe. But platinum is so rare on Earth that fuel cells remain expensive toys. Dreams of a clean energy future held back by the scarcity of a single element. In asteroid platinum, this dream finds its wings. Imagine cities powered by fuel cells. Cars that emit only water vapor. Spacecraft that run on hydrogen split from asteroid ice. All made possible by platinum flowing like rivers through space rocks. Gold has its own story to tell. For most of human history, we have treasured it for its beauty. For its resistance to corrosion. For the way it catches and holds light like captured sunshine. But gold has another face. A hidden purpose. It is one of the best conductors of electricity. It does not tarnish or corrode. These properties make it essential for electronics. For computer chips. For the delicate circuits that run our digital world. As our technology becomes more sophisticated, we need more gold. Not for jewelry. For the invisible pathways that carry information at the speed of light. For the connections that link our devices to the global network of human knowledge. Asteroid gold could transform electronics. Make them cheaper. More reliable. More capable. When gold becomes abundant, the digital revolution enters a new phase. The rare earth elements tell perhaps the most important story of all. These metals have names like magic spells. Neodymium. Europium. Terbium. Dysprosium. They exist in tiny amounts on Earth. But they make modern technology possible. Neodymium creates the strongest permanent magnets known to science. These magnets spin in the generators of wind turbines. They drive the motors of electric cars. They vibrate in the speakers of your headphones. Europium creates the red glow in your television screen. Terbium makes the green. These elements paint with light itself. They turn electricity into the colors that fill your visual world. Without rare earth elements, there would be no smartphones, no electric vehicles, no wind turbines, no solar panels, no fiber optic cables. The green energy revolution depends entirely on these scarce materials. China controls most of Earth's rare earth mining. This creates problems, dependencies, vulnerabilities. Nations that want clean energy must rely on a single source for essential materials. Asteroids could change this completely. They could democratize access to rare elements, make every nation energy independent, remove the scarcity that holds back technological progress. But the most amazing thing about asteroid metals is not their value. It is their origin story. These elements were not born in gentle processes. They came from cosmic violence, from the deaths of massive stars. When a star runs out of fuel, it collapses in a fraction of a second. Then it explodes with the force of 1 billion suns. This supernova creates temperatures and pressures that exist nowhere else in the universe. In these cosmic furnaces, lighter elements fuse together to create heavy metals. Iron becomes nickel. Nickel becomes platinum. Silicon becomes gold. The most violent events in the cosmos create the most precious materials. These newborn metals scatter across space. They drift for millions of years. Eventually, they gather into new clouds of gas and dust. Clouds that will become new solar systems, new worlds, new possibilities. The platinum in your catalytic converter was forged in stellar fire billions of years ago. The gold in your electronics traveled across the galaxy before finding its way to Earth. You carry the products of cosmic catastrophe in your pocket. Asteroids are treasure ships carrying this stellar inheritance. They have preserved these metals for billions of years, kept them safe in the cold vacuum of space, protected them from the processes that hide them deep in planetary cores. When we mine asteroids, we are not just extracting resources. We are harvesting the products of stellar alchemy. We are gathering the scattered gifts of dying stars. We are participating in cycles that span cosmic time. This abundance will transform human civilization. It will make clean energy cheap and universal. It will enable technologies we can barely imagine. It will fund the expansion of life throughout the solar system. But metals are not the only treasures hiding in asteroid hearts. There is something even more precious than platinum flowing through their ancient veins. Close your eyes and listen to your breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Each breath you take carries water vapor. Tiny droplets invisible to the eye. Water that has traveled through clouds and rivers, through plants and animals, through the endless cycle that connects all life on Earth. Now imagine that this same water, this same precious substance, exists frozen in the hearts of asteroids, locked in crystal form for billions of years, waiting in the darkness between worlds. Water is the most important treasure in the universe. More valuable than gold. More essential than platinum. Without water, there is no life as we know it. Without water, there are no dreams of cities among the stars. On Earth, water covers most of the surface. Oceans stretch to the horizon. Rivers flow to the sea. Rain falls from passing clouds. We live surrounded by water. We take it for granted. We forget how rare and precious it truly is. But step beyond Earth's atmosphere, and water becomes the rarest treasure. The moon is dry as ancient bone. Mars holds only traces of its vanished seas. Venus lost its water to the solar wind billions of years ago. In the vast emptiness between planets, water is life itself. It is fuel for rockets, air for breathing, the foundation of every human settlement that will ever exist beyond Earth. And the asteroids hold more water than all the oceans of Earth combined. This seems impossible. These rocks look dry and lifeless, like desert stones baked by endless sunshine. How could they contain more water than our blue world? The answer lies in their formation. In the cold regions where asteroids were born, water could freeze solid. It combined with rock dust and metal particles. It became part of the asteroids themselves. Locked away. Preserved. Protected from the heat of the inner solar system. This water is older than complex life on Earth. It formed in the frigid depths of space before your solar system existed. Hydrogen and oxygen atoms found each other in the cosmic cold. They joined hands in the darkness. They became the seeds of possibility. Some asteroids are half water by weight. Imagine mountains floating in space that are 50% ice. Cosmic icebergs disguised as rocks. Frozen oceans waiting to be awakened. When you touch this asteroid ice, you touch the memory of ancient clouds. Clouds that existed before stars learned to shine steadily. Before planets settled into stable orbits. Before life found its first foothold in the cosmic dance. This water has stories to tell. It remembers the formation of your solar system. It witnessed the birth of planets. It watched as life emerged from primordial seas. It has been waiting patiently for the moment when intelligent beings would finally reach out to claim it. But asteroid water is more than just a curiosity from the past. It is the key to humanity's future in space. Without it, we are trapped near Earth. With it, the entire solar system becomes our playground. Water is rocket fuel. When you split water into hydrogen and oxygen, you create the most powerful chemical rocket fuel known to science. The space shuttle ran on hydrogen and oxygen. So did the mighty Saturn V that carried humans to the moon. Every drop of water in an asteroid can become fuel for spacecraft. Fuel that doesn't need to be lifted from Earth's gravity well. Fuel that waits patiently in space, ready to power the next stage of human exploration. Imagine gas stations scattered throughout the asteroid belt. Robotic refineries that split ice into fuel. Spacecraft that never need to return to Earth for refueling. Missions that can travel farther and carry more cargo because they don't need to bring their own fuel. Water is also life support. Humans need water to drink, to breathe, to grow food. Every space colony will need vast amounts of water. Bringing it from Earth would be impossibly expensive. But harvesting it from asteroids makes settlement economical. The water cycle that sustains life on Earth can be recreated in space habitats. Water evaporates from lakes and rivers, rises as vapor, condenses as clouds, falls as rain. The same cycle that has sustained life for billions of years can sustain human life among the stars. Asteroid water can fill the swimming pools of orbital cities. It can flow in artificial rivers through rotating habitats. It can nurture gardens that bloom in the starlight. It can create the oases that will make space feel like home. But perhaps most importantly, water is the universal solvent. It dissolves more substances than any other liquid. This makes it essential for industry, for manufacturing, for the chemical processes that turn raw materials into useful products. In the microgravity of space, water behaves in magical ways. It forms perfect spheres that float like liquid jewels. It can be shaped and molded by magnetic fields. It can carry dissolved materials from place to place without containers. Space-based manufacturing will depend on water. Metals extracted from asteroids can be dissolved and purified. Semiconductors can be grown in solutions more perfect than anything possible on Earth. Crystals can form in the weightless environment that are impossible to create under gravity's pull. The same water that sustains life can also enable the industries that will build cities in space. The same substance that fills your glass at dinner can power rockets to Jupiter and beyond. Some asteroids are almost pure ice. These cosmic snowballs drift in the outer regions of the asteroid belt. They are the easiest targets for water mining. They require little processing. Just heat them gently and collect the vapor. Other asteroids hide their water in crystal structures. The ice is locked into the rock itself, embedded in the mineral matrix like fossils in stone. This water requires more sophisticated extraction, but the quantities are enormous. Scientists estimate that a single large asteroid might contain more fresh water than Lake Superior, enough to supply a city of millions for thousands of years, enough to fuel a fleet of spacecraft for centuries. The robots that harvest this water work like cosmic gardeners. They drill gentle holes in the asteroid surface. They heat small sections with focused sunlight. They collect the vapor that rises like morning mist. The water they gather is purer than anything on Earth. It has been filtered by billions of years in space, free from the contamination of life, free from the pollution of industry. It is water as it existed at the dawn of creation. This purity makes it ideal for the most demanding applications, for fuel cells that require perfect chemistry, for life support systems that cannot tolerate contamination, for industrial processes that need absolute precision. But asteroid water offers something even more precious than its purity. It offers freedom. Freedom from dependence on Earth. Freedom to explore the solar system. Freedom to build humanity's future among the stars. Every drop of water harvested from asteroids is a step toward true spacefaring civilization. A civilization that can sustain itself beyond Earth. A civilization that can spread life and intelligence throughout the cosmos. The water in asteroids connects us to the deepest mysteries of existence. It links us to the formation of the solar system. It bridges the gap between the lifeless vacuum of space and the possibility of thriving human communities among the stars. As you drift towards sleep tonight, remember that this same water flows in your veins. The hydrogen in your body was forged in the first moments after the Big Bang. The oxygen was created in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. You are made of the same substance that fills asteroid hearts. You carry within yourself the memory of cosmic oceans. You are, quite literally, a child of the stars, sustained by water that has traveled across space and time to give you life. And in the not-so-distant future, that same cosmic water will sustain human children born among the asteroids themselves, in habitats that drift through space like gentle islands in an infinite sea. Imagine you could shrink the Earth to the size of a marble. Hold it in your palm. Feel its weight. Now imagine floating above it, looking down at continents no bigger than pinheads. Oceans like drops of blue paint. In space, asteroids come in sizes that challenge your imagination. Some are smaller than your house. Others are worlds unto themselves. Each one unique. Each one carrying its own personality through the cosmic dark. Ceres is the giant among them, almost as wide as the state of Texas. If you could walk across its surface, the journey would take months. Its gravity is strong enough to pull you down if you jumped. Strong enough to hold a thin atmosphere. Strong enough to shape itself into a sphere. Standing on Ceres would feel like standing on a small planet. The horizon would curve away in all directions. The surface would stretch beyond sight. You would see mountains and valleys. Plains of ice and rock. Craters that tell stories of cosmic collision spanning billions of years. But Ceres is unusual. Most asteroids are much smaller. Most are irregular chunks of rock and metal, tumbling slowly through space like cosmic potatoes. Their gravity so weak that a good jump could launch you into orbit around them. Vesta is another giant. Smaller than Ceres but still enormous by human standards. It has seasons like Earth. As it spins and orbits, different parts of its surface face the sun. Some regions experience eternal summer. Others know only the cold of cosmic winter. Vesta has something no other asteroid possesses. A mountain taller than Mount Everest. A peak that rises from its southern hemisphere like a cosmic lighthouse. This mountain was created by a collision so violent it almost shattered Vesta completely. The impact that created this mountain also created a family of smaller asteroids. Chips broken off from Vesta's surface. These fragments now orbit the Sun in their own paths. Children of the giant parent. Scattered memories of ancient violence. Most asteroids are much more modest in size. They range from city blocks to small mountains, each one spinning in its own rhythm, each one following its own orbital dance around the Sun. Some spin quickly. A day on these asteroids lasts only a few hours. You could watch the Sun rise and set multiple times in a single Earth day. The rapid rotation creates a subtle centrifugal force. Not enough to throw you off, but enough to make walking feel slightly different. Others spin slowly, almost lazily. Their days last for weeks or months. On these worlds, sunrise is a gradual event. Light creeps across the landscape like honey flowing on a winter morning. Shadows move so slowly you could watch them for hours and barely notice the change. The shapes of asteroids reveal their violent histories. Unlike planets, which gravity has pulled into spheres, asteroids preserve the scars of their formation. They are angular, irregular, full of character. Some look like cosmic peanuts, long and narrow with a pinched middle. These may be two separate asteroids that came together gently in the ancient past. Contact binaries. Two worlds that decided to dance together through eternity. Others are covered in boulders. Fields of rock scattered across their surfaces like giant marbles. These boulders are the remnants of ancient impacts. Pieces of other asteroids that came to rest on foreign shores. The surface of an asteroid is not like the surface of Earth. There is no weather to smooth the landscape. No water to carve valleys. No wind to move dust and sand. Every feature preserves the moment of its creation. Craters remain sharp and clear for billions of years. The footprints of cosmic impacts frozen in time. Some craters are enormous compared to the asteroids that host them. Wounds that nearly destroyed their parent bodies. Moving across an asteroid surface requires a new kind of grace. In the weak gravity, every step launches you higher than intended. Every movement must be carefully planned. You become a dancer in slow motion. A ballet performer in a cosmic theater. Walking becomes more like swimming through thick honey. You push off gently and glide across the surface. Your feet barely touch the ground. Each step carries you for dozens of meters. Each leap becomes a small flight. The horizon on most asteroids is surprisingly close. On a small asteroid, you could see over the edge. The surface curves away beneath your feet. The stars appear above, below, and to all sides. You are not walking on a world. You are perched on a mountain floating in space. This strange geometry changes how you think about direction. There is no real up or down. Only toward the asteroid and away from it. The universe spreads out in all directions. A sphere of stars with you at the center. Landing a spacecraft on an asteroid requires extraordinary patience and skill. There are no runways. No air to provide lift or friction for braking. No atmosphere to burn away excess speed. Everything must be planned with mathematical precision. The approach begins months before contact. The spacecraft matches the asteroid's orbit around the Sun. It slowly closes the distance. Like two dancers coming together in a cosmic waltz. As the spacecraft draws near, the asteroid's weak gravity begins to influence its motion. The pull is gentle, almost imperceptible, but persistent. Like the gravitational equivalent of a whispered invitation. The final approach is measured in centimeters per second. Slower than you walk. Slower than grass grows. The spacecraft hovers above the surface like a hummingbird studying a flower. Sensors map every boulder, every crater, every safe landing spot. Touchdown happens with the gentleness of settling snow. The spacecraft doesn't crash into the surface. It settles onto it. Like a leaf coming to rest on still water. Once landed, the spacecraft becomes part of the asteroid. It shares the ancient rock's journey through space. Together, they orbit the Sun as they have for billions of years. Together, they carry the dreams of human exploration into the cosmic deep. The asteroid doesn't notice its new passenger. It continues its patient dance unchanged. But for humanity, everything has changed. We have touched another world. We have extended our reach beyond the sphere of Earth's influence. Each asteroid visited teaches us something new. About the formation of the solar system. About the conditions that existed when planets were young. About the materials from which worlds are built. But perhaps most importantly, each asteroid encounter teaches us humility. These ancient wanderers have been traveling their cosmic paths for eons. They have witnessed the birth and death of countless generations. They carry wisdom that spans geological ages. When we approach them, we approach not as conquerors but as students. We come not to dominate but to learn. We seek not to destroy but to understand. The asteroids accept our presence with cosmic patience. They allow us to sample their treasures, to study their compositions, to map their surfaces. They teach us the skills we will need to harvest their gifts without harm. And as we learn to work with these gentle giants, we discover that the tools of this cosmic partnership are marvels of human ingenuity. Picture a butterfly made of mirrors. Its wings catch sunlight and hold it like liquid silver. As photons strike its surface, they push gently against it. The butterfly moves without flapping, without effort, carried forward by pure light itself. This is not fantasy. This is the solar sail, one of the most elegant tools humans have ever conceived for traveling between worlds. Solar sails work on a principle so simple it seems like magic. Light has no mass, but it carries momentum. When photons strike a reflective surface, they transfer their tiny push to whatever they touch. Individually, these pushes are weaker than whispers. Together, they can move mountains. A solar sail unfolds in space like a flower blooming in slow motion. Acres of reflective film stretch between delicate support beams. The material is thinner than soap bubbles. So thin that thousands of layers would be no thicker than a human hair. But this gossamer construction can carry spacecraft across the solar system. The sun shines on the sail with steady pressure. Day after day. Month after month. The tiny pushes accumulate. The spacecraft slowly gains speed. Unlike rockets, which burn fuel and then coast, solar sails accelerate continuously. As long as starlight touches their surfaces, they keep gaining velocity. They become faster and faster, eventually reaching speeds that chemical rockets cannot match. For asteroid mining, solar sails offer something precious. Free transportation. No fuel required. No expensive propellants to lift from Earth. Just the patient pressure of sunlight to carry mining equipment across the cosmic deep. The spacecraft that ride these sails of light carry tools unlike anything on Earth. In the weightless vacuum of space, traditional mining becomes impossible. There is no air to breathe. No ground to stand on. No gravity to hold things in place. Instead, space miners use robots that work like cosmic gardeners. Gentle machines that harvest rather than destroy. Tools that work with the delicate nature of their environment rather than against it. Some of these robots are tiny, no larger than butterflies. They swarm across asteroid surfaces in coordinated clouds. Each one carries sensors that can taste the composition of rock. They map the surface molecule by molecule. They identify the richest deposits with chemical precision. These microminers work in perfect silence. There is no sound in the vacuum of space. No rumble of machinery. No crash of falling rocks. They move like schools of mechanical fish, flowing around obstacles, avoiding hazards, finding treasures hidden in stone. Larger robots serve as shepherds for these electronic flocks. They coordinate the work. They collect data. They make decisions about where to focus mining efforts. They are the artificial intelligences that turn random exploration into purposeful harvest. The actual mining happens with tools that would seem magical to earthly miners. Instead of explosives, they use focus beams of microwave energy. These invisible rays heat rock until it fractures. They split stone without violence. They free metals from their mineral prisons with gentle precision. Magnetic fields become invisible hands that sort materials. Iron and nickel respond to magnetic pull. They can be separated from non-magnetic rocks without crushing or grinding. The sorting happens in 3 dimensions. Particles float in space, organized by invisible forces. Electric fields provide another tool for separation. Different materials conduct electricity differently. By applying carefully controlled electric currents, miners can separate metals based on their electrical properties. Pure elements sort themselves in the weightless environment. Some asteroids require more direct approaches. For these rocky worlds, mining robots carry ultrasonic drills. These tools vibrate at frequencies too high for human ears to detect. They can bore through the hardest rocks without creating noise or debris clouds. The drilling happens slowly, patiently. Each hole precisely placed according to computer models that map the asteroid's internal structure. The robots know exactly where the valuable materials hide. They drill directly to the treasures. No wasted effort. No unnecessary destruction. As materials are extracted, they flow to processing stations that work like cosmic refineries. These facilities float near the asteroids they serve. They transform raw rocks into pure elements. They separate the valuable from the ordinary. Solar furnaces concentrate starlight into beams hot enough to melt any metal. Mirrors focus the sun's rays into points of incredible intensity. In these solar flames, metals melt and purify. Impurities burn away. What remains is purer than anything achievable on Earth. The vacuum of space becomes an ally in this refining process. There is no oxygen to cause oxidation. No atmosphere to contaminate the pure metals. The refined materials emerge cleaner than hospital instruments. Purer than laboratory samples. Some refineries use a different approach. They employ chemical processes that work only in weightlessness. Solutions mix without containers. Crystals grow in perfect spheres. Metals separate based on density without interference from gravity. The most advanced tools may be the ones that build themselves. Self-replicating machines that use asteroid materials to create copies of themselves. These von Neumann machines could transform single mining missions into growing fleets of harvesters. Each machine builds 2 copies of itself from local materials. Those copies build for more. The 4 become 8. The 8 becomes 16. Growth follows the mathematics of life itself. Exponential expansion powered by asteroid resources. But these self-building machines remain safely under human control. They cannot reproduce without specific commands. They carry built-in limits that prevent runaway replication. They are tools, not independent life forms. The energy that powers all these cosmic tools comes from the same source that pushes the solar sails. The sun. Solar panels unfold like mechanical flowers, turning their faces toward the star that lights your days. In the cold depths beyond Mars, sunlight is weaker than on Earth. But it is constant. Reliable. Available 24 hours a day without interruption by weather or night. Solar panels designed for deep space are marvels of efficiency. They capture every available photon. Some mining operations use nuclear reactors for power. These small, safe reactors provide steady energy regardless of distance from the sun. They enable mining in the outer solar system where sunlight grows dim. They power the tools that harvest treasures from the most distant asteroids. The refined materials don't immediately return to Earth. Instead, they feed a growing network of space-based manufacturing. Asteroid metals become the girders of space stations, the hulls of spacecraft, the structural bones of orbital cities. Water extracted from asteroids splits into hydrogen and oxygen fuel. This fuel powers the next generation of mining missions. It enables deeper exploration. It supports the growing human presence throughout the solar system. The tools of Starlight represent more than just mining equipment. They embody a new relationship between humanity and the cosmos. We are learning to work with space rather than against it. To use cosmic forces as allies rather than obstacles. These machines demonstrate that human ingenuity can adapt to any environment. That intelligence can find solutions to problems that seem impossible. That the same creativity that built the first stone tools can build the instruments of interplanetary civilization. Each mining robot carries within its circuits the accumulated wisdom of human engineering. Every refined gram of asteroid metal represents generations of scientific discovery. The tools of Starlight are, in truth, crystallized human knowledge taking solid form among the stars. But even the most elegant tools are meaningless without understanding the deeper forces that will drive this cosmic transformation. Imagine holding a pebble from your garden. Feel its weight in your palm. Now imagine that this small stone contains more wealth than all the gold ever mined. More riches than ancient treasures. More value than entire kingdoms have ever possessed. This is not imagination. This is the quiet revolution happening in the mathematics of space economics. A single metallic asteroid, no larger than a city block, might contain $1 trillion worth of precious metals. Numbers so large they cease to have earthly meaning. Wealth that transforms the impossible into the inevitable. But this story is not really about money. It is about transformation. About what happens when scarcity becomes abundance. When the rarest materials become common as sand. On Earth, we live with the mathematics of scarcity. Platinum costs more than gold because there is so little of it. We mine entire mountains to extract a few precious ounces. We recycle every gram because each one represents enormous effort and expense. This scarcity shapes our choices. It limits our technologies. It constrains our dreams. We cannot build fuel cells for every home because there is not enough platinum. We cannot create superconductors for every power line because rare earth elements are too precious. But among the asteroids, these calculations transform completely. What is rare on Earth is abundant in space. The mathematics of impossibility become the mathematics of opportunity. A single iron-nickel asteroid might contain more platinum than has ever been discovered on Earth. More gold than fills all earthly vaults. More rare metals than our entire civilization has ever used. These numbers sound like fantasy. But they come from careful measurements. From spacecraft that have tasted asteroid compositions. From telescopes that read the light reflected from their surfaces. The wealth is real. Waiting. Patient as Starlight. The first asteroid mining missions will target the richest prizes. The metallic asteroids that shine like mirrors in space. These cosmic treasure ships contain the highest concentrations of valuable materials. The best return on investment for the enormous effort required. But even these first missions face economic challenges that exist nowhere else. The distances are vast. The time scales are measured in years. The costs are enormous. The risks are real. A single mining mission might cost billions of dollars. It requires technologies that barely exist. It demands patience measured in decades. It needs investors willing to wait years for returns. This is not quick profit. This is long-term transformation. Yet the potential rewards justify the risks. The first successful asteroid mining mission could return materials worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Enough to fund dozens of follow-up missions. Enough to transform entire industries. The economics become more favorable with each successful mission. The infrastructure built for the first asteroid can serve the second. The experience gained reduces costs. The technologies improve. The learning curve drives down expenses. Think of it like the early days of oil exploration. The first wells were expensive and risky. Many failed. But each success funded more exploration. Each discovery reduced the cost of future drilling. Eventually, oil became the foundation of the modern economy. Asteroid mining follows similar patterns. High initial costs. Enormous risks. But exponential returns for those who succeed first. The early pioneers will establish the infrastructure that everyone else will use. The transformation begins slowly. The first asteroid metals arrive on Earth in small quantities. They supplement terrestrial supplies. They enable new technologies that were previously too expensive. They prove that space resources are real and accessible. As quantities increase, prices begin to change. Platinum becomes more affordable. Fuel cells become economical for homes and vehicles. Clean energy technologies that depend on rare metals become widespread. The green revolution accelerates. But the real transformation happens when asteroid materials stay in space. When they become the building blocks of space-based industry. When they fuel the expansion of human civilization beyond Earth. Space manufacturing offers advantages impossible on Earth. Perfect vacuum for creating pure materials. Microgravity for growing perfect crystals. Unlimited solar energy for powering industrial processes. No environmental concerns. No transportation costs to orbit. Products manufactured in space using asteroid materials could be far superior to anything made on Earth. Semiconductors with perfect crystal structures. Metals of unprecedented purity. Optical components with flawless surfaces. These space-made products justify the high cost of transportation back to Earth. They create economic incentives for building manufacturing facilities in orbit. They transform space from a destination into a workplace. The water extracted from asteroids becomes equally valuable. Not as drinking water, but as rocket fuel. Hydrogen and oxygen split from cosmic ice can power spacecraft throughout the solar system. This eliminates the enormous cost of lifting fuel from Earth's surface. Space-based fuel depots fed by asteroid water could reduce the cost of interplanetary travel by orders of magnitude. Mars missions become affordable. Trips to Jupiter's moons become economical. The outer solar system opens to human exploration. Tourism follows industry. As space infrastructure grows and costs decline, orbital hotels become possible. Space-based entertainment. Zero-gravity sports. Lunar vacations. A trillion-dollar space tourism industry awaits the infrastructure that asteroid mining will provide. The economic ripple effects spread throughout human civilization. Industries that depend on rare materials experience a renaissance. Technologies that were too expensive become commonplace. Clean energy replaces fossil fuels not through regulation but through pure economics. Nations that embrace asteroid mining gain enormous competitive advantages. They secure access to unlimited raw materials. They become energy independent. They build the technologies that define the next century of human development. But the transformation creates challenges as well as opportunities. Traditional mining companies face disruption. Nations that depend on exporting raw materials see their advantage disappear. Economic systems built on scarcity must adapt to abundance. The transition requires wisdom and planning. Too rapid an influx of space materials could destabilize earthly markets. Too slow a development could allow competitors to gain insurmountable advantages. The pace must be managed carefully. Governments face new regulatory challenges. Who owns an asteroid? How are mining rights assigned? How are profits taxed? These questions have no precedent in human law. They require new frameworks for cosmic commerce. International cooperation becomes essential. The solar system is too vast for any single nation to claim. The costs are too high for any single economy to bear. Success requires partnerships that span borders and cultures. But these challenges are solvable. Human creativity and diplomacy have overcome greater obstacles. The same ingenuity that enables asteroid mining can solve the problems it creates. The mathematics of dreams are becoming the mathematics of reality. What seemed impossible a generation ago becomes inevitable today. The cosmic marketplace is awakening. The age of abundance is beginning. And as this economic transformation unfolds across decades and centuries, it will reshape not just how we build things, but where we build them. Float with me into tomorrow. Rise above the Earth until it becomes a blue marble suspended in star-filled darkness. Here, in the vast emptiness between worlds, imagine something impossible becoming real. A city, spinning slowly in the cosmic void. Its lights twinkle like earthbound stars. Its gardens bloom in artificial sunlight. Its children play in chambers where gravity is painted onto floors by gentle rotation. This city was not built from earthly materials. Every beam, every panel, every rivet came from the hearts of asteroids. From metals forged in stellar furnaces billions of years ago. From materials that traveled across the galaxy to find their purpose here. The hull of this space city gleams with asteroid steel. Iron and nickel extracted from cosmic wanderers and refined in the perfect vacuum of space. This steel is purer than any metal smelted on Earth. Stronger than the finest earthly alloys. In the weightless factories that orbit nearby, asteroid metals are shaped with precision impossible under gravity's pull. Perfect spheres form naturally in microgravity. Crystals grow without the flaws that Earth's pull creates. Alloys mix with mathematical perfection. The city's framework consists of beams that could never exist on Earth. Asteroid metals combined in combinations that gravity would never allow. These hybrid materials are lighter than aluminum yet stronger than titanium. They support structures that Earth's gravity would crush. Look through the city's transparent walls. The windows are made from asteroid glass. Silicon extracted from space rocks and transformed into perfectly clear barriers. This cosmic glass contains no earthly impurities. No bubbles. No distortions. It offers views of space that are crystal clear. The air inside this city once existed as water ice in asteroid hearts. Hydrogen and oxygen split by solar-powered refineries. Breathed by 10,000 people who call this floating world home. Each breath connects them to the ancient ice of the outer solar system. The city rotates to create artificial gravity. As it spins, centrifugal force presses people gently toward the outer rim. Their feet find purchase on floors that curve up and around them. They walk on the inside of a giant wheel that turns in the starlight. Different levels of the city offer different gravities. Near the center, gravity is weak. Children float and play in 3 dimensions. Near the rim, gravity approaches Earth normal. Older residents feel comfortable in familiar weight. Gardens spiral through the city's heart. Plants grow in soil made from asteroid materials. Their roots drink water that once froze in cosmic ice. Their leaves photosynthesize under artificial suns powered by space-based solar arrays. These gardens do more than provide food. They create the oxygen that fills the city's air. They recycle carbon dioxide from human breath. They complete cycles of life that span from asteroid to plant to human and back again. The city's power comes from the same source that pushed the solar sails of its builders. Vast arrays of photovoltaic panels spread like metallic flowers around the habitat. They catch sunlight that never sets, never dims with weather, never disappears behind clouds. This solar energy powers more than lights and air recyclers. It drives the factories that continue building the city, that create new modules, new living spaces, new workshops and laboratories. The city grows like a living organism, feeding on starlight and asteroid materials. Transportation within the city uses principles unknown on Earth. In the low-gravity central hub, people fly with tiny thrusters. They navigate in 3 dimensions like birds in an infinite sky. Movement becomes an art form. A ballet of human bodies dancing through space. The city's population came from Earth. But their children are something new. Citizens of space. People whose bones grew strong in artificial gravity. Whose eyes adapted to the particular quality of space-filtered sunlight. Whose hearts know both Earth and the cosmos as home. These spaceborne humans can visit Earth. But they are equally comfortable in the weightless regions of their rotating world. They represent the first generation of truly spacefaring humanity. The first people for whom the solar system is a neighborhood rather than an impossibility. The materials that built their city tell stories of cosmic journeys. The iron in their walls remembers the nuclear fires where it was forged. The silicon in their windows recalls the supernovas that scattered it across space. Every element carries the memory of stellar birth and death. This city is not alone in its orbital dance. Other habitats spin nearby. Some specialize in manufacturing. Others focus on research. Still others serve as way stations for travelers journeying between worlds. Together, they form a growing constellation of human presence in space. Trade flows between these orbital cities like currents in a cosmic ocean. Raw materials from asteroid mines. Manufactured goods from zero-gravity factories. Food from agricultural habitats. Information and culture from research stations. Each city contributes to a growing space-based economy. Children born in these cities learn mathematics by calculating orbital mechanics. They study chemistry by observing the behavior of materials in vacuum. They understand physics through daily experience with microgravity and artificial gravity. Their playground is the universe itself. Some of these children will never set foot on a planetary surface. They will spend their entire lives moving between orbital habitats, traveling on spacecraft built from asteroid materials, working in factories that float in space. They will be the first truly nomadic humans. Citizens of the void. The cities themselves migrate slowly through the solar system, following orbits that bring them close to asteroid mining operations, to manufacturing centers, to other populations of space dwellers. They are not fixed in place like earthly cities. They are nomadic communities that wander between worlds. As asteroid materials become more abundant, these cities grow larger and more sophisticated. What begins as small research stations evolves into vast metropolitan areas. Populations climb from hundreds to thousands to millions. Eventually, some of these space cities may dwarf earthly metropolises. O'Neill cylinders dozens of miles long. Stanford Torrey that house entire civilizations. Artificial worlds that spin in the darkness, carrying human culture and human dreams to destinations throughout the solar system. The materials for these vast constructions come entirely from space. Earth's resources remain safely in Earth's gravity well. The planet becomes a garden world, its environment protected by the abundance that flows from asteroid hearts. But the most remarkable thing about these cities is not their size or their technology. It is the transformation they represent in human consciousness. People who live among the stars see Earth not as the center of everything, but as one beautiful world among many possibilities. They understand viscerally that humans are citizens of the cosmos. That the universe is not empty space punctuated by rare islands of matter, but a vast ocean of possibilities waiting for life and intelligence to explore them. These orbital cities become the seeds of something even grander. The first steps toward a truly spacefaring civilization. Communities that could one day journey between stars, carrying everything needed for human flourishing in their asteroid-built hulls. And as these cities grow and multiply, their very existence begins to ripple through space and time, changing not just where humans live, but how they understand their place in the cosmic order. A butterfly in Brazil flaps its wings. The tiny motion stirs the air. Molecules dance. Pressure waves spread. Somewhere across the ocean, a hurricane changes course. Small causes. Enormous effects. This is the butterfly effect. The way tiny actions ripple through complex systems to create vast transformations. In the asteroid belt, humanity is about to flap its wings. Picture the first robot that touches an asteroid surface. Its mechanical hand scoops up a handful of cosmic dust. A few grams of material. Particles so small you could hold them in your palm. Seemingly insignificant. A butterfly wing in the cosmic breeze. But this small action begins ripples that will transform everything. The dust returns to Earth in a sample container smaller than a coffee cup. Scientists study each grain under powerful microscopes. They discover new minerals, unknown crystal structures, metals arranged in patterns that Earth's gravity has never allowed. These discoveries change how we think about materials science. New alloys become possible. Stronger composites. More efficient semiconductors. The tiny sample inspires technologies that transform industries. Electronics become faster. Cars become lighter. Buildings become stronger. A child watches news coverage of the asteroid sample return. She sees scientists celebrating tiny specks of space dust. Something stirs in her imagination. She decides to study astronomy. Years later, she designs the solar sails that carry the first mining missions to asteroid hearts. The butterfly wings beat faster. The first successful mining mission returns with tons of asteroid materials. Pure metals refined in the vacuum of space. Water split from ancient ice. Rare elements concentrated by billions of years of cosmic sorting. These materials enable the next generation of space technology. Spacecraft hulls become lighter and stronger. Fuel becomes abundant and cheap. Electronics become more powerful and efficient. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes routine today. The infrastructure for human expansion into space grows from these cosmic seeds. A young engineer works with the first asteroid metals. She marvels at their purity, their strength, their strange properties that exist nowhere on Earth. This experience shapes her career. She dedicates her life to space-based manufacturing. Her designs become the blueprints for orbital factories. The ripples spread through generations. Children who grow up in the age of asteroid mining see space differently than their parents. To them, the solar system is not empty void punctuated by unreachable worlds. It is a neighborhood, a collection of resources and possibilities. Their career choices reflect this cosmic perspective. Some become asteroid miners. Others design space habitats. Still others specialize in the unique challenges of manufacturing in microgravity. An entire generation grows up thinking of space as humanity's natural frontier. Their assumptions reshape civilization. Universities create new departments. Astrogeology, space-based engineering, orbital ecology. Students learn to think in 3 dimensions. To plan for journeys measured in years. To design for environments where up and down have no meaning. These students become the leaders of the space age. They make decisions based on cosmic scales. They see Earth not as the center of everything, but as humanity's cherished birth world. One precious planet among many possibilities. International relations transform as space resources become abundant. Nations that once competed for rare earth metals now collaborate on asteroid mining missions. The scarcity that drove conflicts disappears. Competition shifts from control of resources to innovation in their use. New forms of governance emerge for space communities. People who live in rotating habitats develop different social structures than Earth dwellers. Democracy adapts to 3-dimensional environments. Laws evolve to handle the unique challenges of life between worlds. Art and culture reflect this cosmic perspective. Musicians compose symphonies inspired by the silence of space. Artists paint with pigments made from asteroid minerals. Writers tell stories of characters who call the void home. Human creativity expands to fill the available universe. The most profound changes are philosophical. Humans begin to see themselves as participants in cosmic processes rather than observers of them. They understand viscerally that the elements in their bodies were forged in stellar furnaces. That they are literally made of star stuff. This cosmic perspective changes how humans treat their home planet. Earth becomes precious not because it is all they have, but because it is irreplaceable. The garden world that gave birth to spacefaring civilization. The blue marble that must be protected at all costs. Environmental protection becomes a matter of cosmic heritage rather than mere survival. Humans who live in space understand the delicate balance required to maintain life-supporting environments. They apply this knowledge to healing Earth's damaged ecosystems. Technology developed for space habitats revolutionizes sustainability on Earth. Closed-loop life support systems become models for earthly cities. Solar power satellites beam clean energy from space. Manufacturing moves to orbital factories, reducing planetary pollution. The butterfly effect compounds. Each generation builds on the achievements of the previous one. What began with grams of asteroid dust grows into a spacefaring civilization. Millions of humans living and working throughout the solar system. Cities that orbit the sun. Ships that journey to Jupiter's moons. These cosmic humans maintain deep connections to Earth. They return to visit. They send messages and materials. They share the perspective that comes from seeing their birth world from the outside. As a single, beautiful, fragile oasis in the vast darkness. Some of them push farther. They design generation ships that could carry human civilization to other star systems. These vessels would be built entirely from asteroid materials. Self-sufficient worlds that could journey for centuries between stars. The first interstellar missions may be launched from asteroid-built shipyards. Crewed by people who grew up in space. Powered by fusion reactors fueled with asteroid hydrogen. Carrying with them the accumulated wisdom of a truly spacefaring species. But even these grand achievements pale beside the most important transformation. The change in human consciousness itself. The shift from seeing the universe as hostile emptiness to recognizing it as humanity's natural habitat. Children born in the asteroid mining age think differently about their place in the cosmos. They see the Milky Way not as an unreachable wonder, but as the galaxy they inhabit. They dream not of conquering space, but of gardening it. Of spreading life and intelligence throughout the cosmic wilderness. This shift in perspective ripples through every aspect of human culture. Religion grapples with the implications of humanity's cosmic nature. Philosophy explores what it means to be truly spacefaring beings. Science focuses on understanding and nurturing the delicate processes that enable life to flourish. The butterfly wings that began beating with the first asteroid sample continue their rhythm. Each small action amplifies into larger consequences. Each success enables greater achievements. Each generation reaches farther than the last. The ultimate destination is not a place but a transformation. Not the conquest of space but the recognition that space has always been humanity's true home. The void between stars is not empty. It is filled with possibility. With the potential for life and intelligence to flower throughout the universe. And it all begins with something as simple as cosmic dust in a robot's mechanical hand. Proof that in a universe governed by the butterfly effect, even the smallest actions can change everything. But as humanity learns to harvest the treasures of space, questions arise that require wisdom as much as technology. Picture an ancient gardener tending roses that have bloomed for 1,000 years. Her hands move with reverence. She knows each plant's history. She understands which branches to prune and which to preserve. She works not for today's harvest alone, but for gardens that will flourish long after she is gone. This is the spirit humanity must carry to the asteroid belt. The wisdom of gardeners who tend celestial ecosystems that span millions of years. The asteroids are not just rocks floating in space. They are libraries. Archives of the solar system's formation. Museums that preserve conditions from the birth of worlds. Each one tells stories that stretch back billions of years. When we mine these ancient wanderers, we become curators of cosmic history. We hold the responsibility to preserve their secrets even as we harvest their treasures. To learn from them before we transform them. To honor their deep time memories. Some asteroids carry within their hearts materials that have never been disturbed since the solar system formed. Pristine samples of the original nebula from which planets grew. These are priceless archives. Once disturbed, they can never be restored to their original state. The first asteroid miners must choose carefully. Which rocks to harvest and which to preserve. Which treasures to claim and which to leave untouched for future generations to study. These decisions will echo through centuries of human development. Think of it like archaeology on a cosmic scale. Ancient sites on Earth teach us about human history. Asteroid sites teach us about the history of everything. The formation of stars. The creation of elements. The birth of worlds. The origins of life itself. Just as earthly archaeologists preserve sites for future study, cosmic miners must preserve representative samples of different asteroid types. A cosmic museum scattered throughout the solar system. A library of origins written in stone and metal. This responsibility extends beyond scientific preservation. The asteroids exist in delicate gravitational relationships. They influence each other's orbits. They participate in cosmic dances that have continued for eons. Mining operations must consider these relationships. Removing mass from an asteroid changes its gravitational influence. This can affect the orbits of nearby rocks. Small changes accumulate over time. What seems insignificant today might redirect an asteroid's path over thousands of years. The asteroid belt is not a chaotic jumble of rocks. It is a complex system. Families of asteroids share common origins. They follow related orbital paths. They participate in gravitational resonances with Jupiter and Mars. This system has achieved a delicate balance over billions of years. Asteroid miners become part of this ancient system. Their presence changes the gravitational landscape. Their harvesting activities alter mass distributions. They must work with celestial mechanics rather than against them. Some asteroids serve as gravitational anchors for smaller companions. Binary systems where two rocks orbit each other in cosmic waltz. Others exist in stable orbital resonances. Mathematical relationships that keep them safely spaced throughout their journeys around the Sun. Mining operations must preserve these relationships. They must harvest materials without destroying the gravitational architecture that keeps the asteroid belt stable. This requires unprecedented precision in planning and execution. The wisdom of cosmic gardening extends to timing as well as technique. Asteroids follow orbital schedules that span years or decades. The most efficient mining operations work with these natural rhythms rather than against them. Like farmers who plant and harvest according to seasons, asteroid miners must synchronize their activities with orbital mechanics. There are optimal times for approach. Ideal windows for extraction. Natural rhythms that make certain operations easier or more difficult. Patient gardening yields better results than hasty exploitation. Asteroid miners who work slowly and thoughtfully can extract more materials with less environmental disruption. They can preserve the scientific value of their targets while harvesting their economic treasures. The tools of cosmic gardening must be designed with preservation in mind. Gentle extraction methods that disturb as little material as possible. Precise instruments that can separate valuable materials from scientifically important samples. Technologies that leave minimal footprints on ancient surfaces. Some asteroids may be too scientifically valuable to mine at all. Particularly rare types that preserve unique information about solar system formation. These cosmic treasures must be designated as protected sites. Preserved for study rather than exploitation. Creating protected zones in the asteroid belt requires international cooperation. No single nation can claim ownership of these cosmic archives. They belong to all humanity. To all future generations who will seek to understand their origins. The governance of asteroid mining must balance economic opportunity with scientific responsibility. Regulations that ensure preservation while enabling development. International frameworks that protect the most valuable sites while allowing sustainable harvesting of others. This governance extends to the question of asteroid ownership itself. Traditional concepts of property may not apply to objects that have existed since before life began on Earth. New legal frameworks must recognize both economic rights and preservation responsibilities. The asteroid miners of tomorrow will be part engineer, part archaeologist, part environmental scientist. They will need skills in multiple disciplines. Technical expertise in space operations. Scientific understanding of solar system formation. Ethical awareness of their preservation responsibilities. Their training will emphasize reverence as much as efficiency. They will learn to see asteroids not as mere resources but as irreplaceable archives. They will understand that they are participants in processes that span cosmic time scales. The communities that develop around asteroid mining will carry this gardener's wisdom in their cultures. They will teach their children about the deep history preserved in space rocks. They will develop traditions that honor the ancient origins of the materials they harvest. These space-born communities may develop new forms of environmental ethics, ways of thinking about humanity's relationship with the cosmos that extend far beyond Earth-based concepts. They will be the first truly cosmic environmentalists. Their perspective will influence how humanity approaches other frontiers. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn, the comets of the outer solar system, eventually, the planets of other star systems. The wisdom learned in the asteroid belt will guide human expansion throughout the universe. The responsibility of cosmic gardening is ultimately about stewardship, about recognizing that humanity is not separate from the universe but part of it, about understanding that our actions have consequences that ripple through space and time. As asteroid miners work in the cold darkness between worlds, they will carry with them the accumulated wisdom of every gardener who ever tended a living system. They will understand that their task is not just to harvest but to nurture, not just to take but to give back. And in learning to tend this cosmic garden with wisdom and reverence, humanity will discover something profound about its own place in the infinite dance of creation. Let your breathing slow. Feel your heart beating its steady rhythm. In this quiet moment between waking and sleep, you are connected to a story that spans the universe itself. A story written in the atoms of your body. A story that connects you to asteroids and stars and the infinite dance of creation. The carbon in your bones was forged in the nuclear furnace of an ancient star. The iron in your blood was scattered by a supernova billions of years ago. The calcium in your teeth crystallized in the heart of a dying sun. You are made of star stuff. Literally. Physically. Beautifully. These same elements exist in the asteroids that drift through space. Waiting. Patient as geological time. They have been traveling for eons. From stellar cores to cosmic clouds to solar system formation to these wandering rocks between Mars and Jupiter. Soon, human hands will touch these ancient materials. We'll harvest them with reverence. We'll transform them into the building blocks of tomorrow. The iron that flows in your veins will find cousins in asteroid hearts. We'll help build cities among the stars. Imagine this future unfolding like a slow dream. Decades pass. Centuries flow by like gentle streams. The first asteroid mining missions become fleets. The fleets become industries. The industries become the foundation of a truly spacefaring civilization. Children are born in rotating habitats built from asteroid steel. They breathe air that once existed as ice in cosmic wanderers. They drink water that remembers the formation of the solar system. Their bodies incorporate elements that traveled from distant stars to become part of human life. These spaceborn children grow up differently than you did. They see Earth not as the center of everything, but as humanity's beautiful birth world. One precious blue marble among many possibilities. Their playground is the entire solar system. Their horizon is measured in astronomical units. Some of these children become explorers. They pilot ships built from asteroid materials to Jupiter's moons, to Saturn's rings, to the frozen worlds beyond Neptune. Each journey carries human consciousness farther into the cosmic deep. Each mission expands the sphere of human presence. Others become gardeners of space itself. They tend orbital forests that bloom in artificial sunlight. They nurture ecosystems that span the void between worlds. They transform the sterile emptiness of space into gardens where human life can flourish. Still others become builders of impossible dreams. They construct generation ships that could carry human civilization to other star systems. Vast vessels built entirely from asteroid materials. Mobile worlds that could journey for centuries between distant suns. Centuries pass in your gentle dream. The solar system fills with human presence. Millions of people living and working throughout the cosmic neighborhood. Cities that orbit every planet. Mining operations that harvest resources from countless asteroids. Manufacturing centers that transform raw space materials into the tools of interstellar civilization. Earth itself transforms. Protected by the abundance that flows from space, it becomes a garden world. A nature preserve. A living museum of the biosphere that gave birth to spacefaring humanity. The polluting industries move to orbital factories. The atmosphere clears. The oceans heal. Humans who live in space visit their ancestral world like pilgrims returning to a sacred shrine. They walk in forests that their ancestors nearly destroyed. They swim in oceans that their forebears almost poisoned. They understand viscerally why this blue world must be protected at all costs. But even this is not the end of the dream. As centuries become millennia, some humans push farther still. The generation ships that were built from asteroid materials begin their journeys to other stars, carrying with them not just human bodies, but human consciousness. Human dreams. Human love. These interstellar travelers carry asteroid steel in their ship hulls, asteroid water in their life support systems, asteroid fuel in their fusion reactors. The wandering rocks that once drifted aimlessly between Mars and Jupiter become the vehicles for humanity's expansion throughout the galaxy. Other star systems welcome these cosmic seeds. New worlds are born around distant suns. Human children are born under alien starlight. They breathe air recycled through systems built from materials that once orbited our sun. They are connected across interstellar distances by the elements they share. The asteroid materials that enabled this expansion are transformed and recycled countless times. The iron that once flowed through space becomes part of generation ships. Then space stations. Then planetary colonies. Then other generation ships that journey to even more distant stars. The elements participate in an infinite dance of transformation. Star to nebula to asteroid to human to spaceship to new world to new human to new ship. Each cycle spreads life and consciousness farther through the galaxy. Each transformation connects all living things through shared atomic heritage. In this far future, humans understand themselves as participants in cosmic processes rather than observers of them. They see their role not as conquerors of space but as gardeners of the universe. As agents of complexity and consciousness spreading through the cosmic wilderness. They carry with them the wisdom learned in the early days of asteroid mining. The reverence for ancient materials. The understanding that small actions can have cosmic consequences. The knowledge that they are stewards of processes that span geological and astronomical time scales. Your own atoms participate in this cosmic dance. The elements in your body have already journeyed from stars to planets to living creatures. When your time comes, they will continue their travels. Perhaps some will return to space. Perhaps some will become part of the asteroid-built ships that carry consciousness to other worlds. This is not science fiction. This is the natural progression of the universe toward greater complexity, greater consciousness, greater beauty. The same processes that built galaxies and stars also build human brains capable of understanding galaxies and stars. Asteroid mining is just one small step in this cosmic evolution. But it is a crucial step. The moment when humanity learns to harvest the universe's abundance. To work with cosmic processes rather than against them. To see space not as hostile emptiness but as home. As you drift toward sleep, carry this vision with you. You are made of ancient starlight. Your atoms have witnessed the birth of worlds. Your elements will participate in the future expansion of consciousness throughout the universe. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos becoming aware of itself. The asteroids that drift in space carry the same elements that flow through your veins. They are not alien rocks. They are distant cousins. Parts of the same cosmic family that includes every star, every planet, every living thing that has ever existed or ever will exist. In tomorrow's dreams, imagine yourself floating among them. These ancient wanderers. These carriers of cosmic possibility. These silent teachers that will show humanity how to become truly spacefaring. How to spread life and consciousness throughout the infinite ocean of space. And in the deepest quiet before sleep takes you completely, remember that you are already part of this cosmic story. Your breath connects you to the atmosphere of Earth. Your heartbeat echoes the rhythm of pulsing stars. Your dreams participate in the universe dreaming of itself. The future flows through you like starlight through space, gentle and inevitable as the turning of worlds in their ancient orbits around the sun.